Yo, before the video begins, so many of you guys ask me, what do I use on my hair? I know y'all have heard me say it a few times in the past, but I am going to say it again because I am a firm believer in our product. I just want to show you guys how healthy my hair is. Even though I diet, even though I'm not the greatest about keeping up with my hair is extremely healthy. I'm blessed. And I mean, you can look at my page and see how much it's grown. Y'all ask me what I use, and I'm telling you now that it is our I Am Melanin Magic Hair Oil. It's my sister's, my mom's, and I's company. It is great for locks, micro locks, braids, loose natural, straight hair, literally any hair. It's got the highest source ingredients. They're extremely high quality, and it is tailored specifically for your hair growth. If you would like to order, use my code RANIECODE and go to IamMelaninMagic.com, which will be in the description. The code is on the screen, and it will also be in the description. Thank you guys, and enjoy the video. Bye. What's good, gang? It's Ronnie here, back at it again with another video. So, as you can see from the title of the video, today we're going to be talking about pros and cons of locks. Obviously, I have a list for you guys because you know I got to do my due diligence. So I think I've done something similar to this in the beginning of my lock journey. However, it definitely wasn't as detailed, and I don't think that I knew then what I know now. So I've done an updated list for you guys, just like for anyone who may be considering getting locks, or just like literally if you just want to listen to the video, like you don't have to be getting locks. So obviously I have my first list, and the first thing I have on the list is it lowers your monthly bills as pros. We're starting with pros. And when I say it lowers your monthly bills, when I was a loose natural, I literally was at the store probably every other week, constantly getting products, Shea Moisture, Cantu, what was the other one? The main choice, like all of those. And that stuff really adds up. And obviously we know as curly girls or loose naturals, we know we have a lot of hair, so we don't use what the bottle says. When the bottle says use a quarter amount, we know we're using a handful because we got a lot of volume and we got a lot of hair. And most of those products are made by non-black people. So that stuff adds up. It becomes really expensive really fast, and it becomes a chore really fast. When you get locks, you literally don't have to do that anymore. You get one product that you use, which is going to be your oil that you use to moisturize your hair, and then if you're not interlocking, then you get one product that you use for retwisting, and that's cheap too, and that's all you need. And really, we know that they last you for a very long time. So that having locks completely lowers your monthly bills. If you're someone who did all the sew-ins, lace fronts, all that, you don't have to do that anymore. So like your life just becomes easier, and you don't have to pay for all those things. The next thing is locks are low maintenance. Contrary to popular belief, you do not have to constantly be retwisting your hair. As y'all know, I retwist my hair like once every 4 or 5 months, and that's pushing it. Like, I know that's a long time, but I know what works for my hair, and that's what it is. So it's really low maintenance. There's nothing you absolutely have to be doing to your hair. You wash it when you wash it, and you retwist it when you retwist it, but you don't have to do those every week's wash days and the styling and hoping that it's gonna last and it ain't gonna get frizzy. So it's really low maintenance, and you don't even have to moisturize it every day. For example, I moisturize mine like twice a week, sometimes once a week. Just have to do with what goes for your hair. The next thing I have is it grows so fast. When I was a loose natural, I had a lot of trouble retaining my length for some reason. It would just kind of stay at collarbone length, and there was nothing I could do to change that. It just felt like a losing game. As soon as I got my locks, my hair started growing so fast. Y'all know my hair is like boob length right now. And I just felt like that took a lot of stress off of me as well, because as women, we're constantly obsessed with having long hair. So when you get something that you literally don't have to do anything to, but your hair is going to grow really fast, like you're good. I see the next thing I have on my list, it kind of goes back to being a loose natural. Once you get your locks, you no longer have to do any of the detangling. And what that means is Again, there's no sitting in the bathroom for hours crying because your hair is so tangled and trying to comb it to where you're not breaking your hair off, or you don't have to use the Denman brush or any of that. Like, I was so into that, like, whole lock girl community, curly girl community, because I had gone natural. I was natural for like 6 years, but there's no more of having to detangle your hair, having to use all them products to loosen it up, and then having to define your curls. It was stressful, y'all. Even when you were doing box braids, you still have to detangle your hair. And I just feel like it's been great not having to deal with that. My next pro is there are no bad hair days. When you have loose natural hair, I don't care what you're doing. If you don't have locks, you're having bad hair days. Like, obviously in the beginning, sometimes you have bad hair days with locks because you're not always going to be crazy about the way they look, but it's not nearly as bad as it is with loose natural hair. And I'm not bashing loose natural hair at all. I'm just giving you all the pros and cons. But for example, I used to do this thing called the shingling method on my hair, where you define each curl, or sometimes I didn't even do that. I'd just wash it because I couldn't be bothered. And you just have to kind of hope that you're gonna have a good hair day. Like, there's no guarantee that it's gonna look the same every day. It might have looked bomb yesterday and today it's freezing. You literally have no definition. There is no more of that once you have locks. Every day is a good hair day. You have some stability in your life. Like, your hair never looks bad. Next thing on the list is it is so versatile. Like, I've heard people saying that they don't want locks because it's the same thing all the time, and that's not the case. Like, you have to get creative, obviously, like you would with any other type of hair. You braid it, you can leave it in the braids, you can wear curl braid outs, you can do the double strand twist, you can do the pipe cleaners, like, you can do buns, you can do bonbons, you can do low, like, you can do so many different things. It's almost like anything you can do to regular hair, you can do to your locks. I could say the only thing that maybe, well, I can't really think of much that you can't do to locks that you can do to regular hair. Or maybe I'm just not thinking like that. But anyway, it's very versatile, which we know because y'all see me with a different hairstyle in every video. I do like my buns though, so most of the time it is a bun. The next thing is anyone can get them. I had 3C, 4A hair. I had really loose curls, which y'all can see in some of my older videos. I was able to get them, and it took a little bit longer, but like, there's no one who can't get them. And I just think that's a good thing. Like, for example, some hairstyles, you don't know if they're gonna look good on you. I feel like locks look good on everyone. So I just feel like that's one of those things that just kind of makes them a little bit more superb. And my last pro is that there's no pain. You know, as kids, when we're getting our hair done and we're crying and they're like, beauty is pain or beauty hurts, that's no longer the case when you get locks. You don't have to go through pain. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do with them. It's the same thing every day, and you don't have to do all that extra pulling and tugging and combing and detangling and all the water. Like, when you're a curly girl, you wash your hair probably like every 2 days. You don't have to do that anymore. There's no more pain. And that is the best thing about locks that I will say. Like, even when you used to get your hair done and you get your hair braided, like, they're pulling on it, they're putting stress on you. It's just a lot, and you don't have to deal with that anymore. So those are my pros. I had a lot, but I didn't want to overwhelm y'all with stuff. So the next thing we're going to do is the cons. For me, the pros outweigh the cons in so many different ways. Like, I could not think of any cons that doesn't make this worth it for me. But I was able to get 6 for you guys. The cons that I have for the first one is that it is permanent. So if you're someone who likes to change your hair up a lot, which I know a lot of people are, they like to look different every day, or they like to experiment with their looks, locks aren't really for you. And that's a con, because you might get the locks thinking you want the locks, and then you realize that you can't have the locks because you want to change your hair. So they are very permanent, and like, you can comb them out, but it's kind of like one of those things that it takes such a long time. Is it even worth it to put them in if you're not sure about them? So that's definitely one of the cons. The next thing I have is, what was it? Oh, they attract lint. Not literally attract. Okay, so it depends on what you use in your hair, of course, but it's not as easy to get it out. For example, when you have loose hair, you can just comb and wash your hair. With locks, once you get lint, it's embedded into the locks. So there's not much you can do without damaging the actual locks. And that, I will say, is like my #1 downfall of having locks. because nobody wants lint in their hair, and when you do get it, it can be really difficult to get it out, which I know the apple cider vinegar rinse is but I didn't have a great experience with that, so I just feel like that's something that I should mention. Obviously it's not like an end-all be-all, but it is something that needs to be considered. The next thing I have is, all right, I don't believe in the ugly phase when it comes to locks, but I do believe in there's a part of your lock journey where your locks look very awkward and you may not be crazy about them. So I definitely think that's something to consider, just because like it can be hard on your self-esteem when you don't like the way you look, and then obviously that's the thing when your hair is kind of like molding and going into something new. So again, that's something that just needs to be considered. The next thing I have is your wash days and retwist days are long. Ugh. I hate wash days. I hate my retwist days. They are long because you have to wash it, but obviously like you got to rub the shampoo into all the locks. Like you got to make sure that you're not, like in the beginning, you got to make sure they're not unraveling. Once you get out of the shower, it takes forever for everything to get done, because then if you've let your roots grow out, you got to separate the roots so that they don't tangle, so that they don't marry. It's just really a long process. And then this kind of goes into my next thing. They take forever to dry because obviously they're dense. It's not like regular hair. They're very dense. So they take a very, very considerable amount of time. And that's why those two things go in together, because you're no longer going to have 1 hour wash days. Your wash days and retwist days are going to become 3-4 hours, especially if you're doing it by yourself. Even if you're getting them done, it's just kind of a long, drawn out process. So that's definitely a con for me. The next thing is, if they get damaged, it's over. There is no repairing them. Like you can obviously stitch them back together, like combine them back together. If they get weak, you get a weak spot. But like with locks, by the time the damage starts to show, you're really far down the line. And that's the issue with that's the reason why it's on the list. Was there damage? You're at a crossroads and it's not a big deal, whatever. But again, it is a con of having locks. And my last tip is it takes a long time. It requires a lot of patience. Just waiting for them to mature, waiting for them to log, waiting for them to stop unraveling, waiting for yourself to like them, waiting for you to grow into them, waiting for them to grow, waiting for them to drop, waiting for them to bud. It's a lot of waiting. So it's definitely not for people who are impatient, because you got to be patient. It takes at least a year for them to even be semi-mature. Mine took like 2 years to be fully mature. So I just feel like, it's a waiting game. Those are my pros and cons though. Like my handwriting is so bad, y'all. But those are my pros and cons for you guys, because that's what I could think of. If I forgot anything, please let me know down below. Also, you guys leave me video requests, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, add me on Snapchat, all that good stuff. Everything is down in the description. And I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.